Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is a tutorial of me cutting up the ephemera from my Celestial Nights Junk Journal ephemera kit. So once I've cut all of this ephemera up, I'm going to slow the video down and I'll explain how to assemble the ephemera and actually what some of the pieces are as well. So enjoy. So that's all of the chopping done, and now what I'm going to do is just show you each piece of ephemera and what they actually are. And also I just wanted to say that you don't actually have to have a guillotine or a paper trimmer like I'm using. I really do struggle with cutting straight lines in general, so that's why I use the guillotine for literally everything, but I probably use it way too much. You can very easily cut a lot of this stuff out just by hand. It's just purely preference for me. I think a lot of crafters generally have paper trimmers, but if you don't and you've just got a pair of scissors, it works just fine. So right, we'll get into the explaining what the ephemera is and to what the assembly looks like. So these are a page of pockets basically. So there are no fold lines on these, but you can see that you would fold from this corner, so that makes your flap basically. So the best way that I found to do this is to just fold it back and pinch it, and then just try and make sure that you are kind of following down a fairly straight line, and then do the same with this one. So you can do it on this side if that's easier, either way, just as long as you're getting that corner pinched, and then just kind of pinch along until you've got a fairly straight line, and then that gives you what your flap would be at the bottom. So you're just going to be folding from this corner to this corner. So again, pinch it in each corner, and then it just makes it a little bit easier to fold. Now this is because I print my my kits onto 200 GSM paper, which means it's essentially cardstock. So it is quite thick, so you may not need to pinch quite so much. So all I've done really is just folded, so I've just run the bone folder over each flap so that it makes the pocket. So I'm just going to do that for the rest of them as well. So you can see with that one I've not quite gone to the corners, but it doesn't actually look bad. I quite like that look. And what you could do if you've already folded this, you could just cut the corner off so that it matches. Okay, so this is what the pockets will look like. So some of them do have focal points, and then some of them, so this is a star map that's on here. It might be for one of the specific star signs, I'm not sure. Oh, it does have like Gemini written there, and a few other bits and bobs. I don't know a great deal about astronomy or astrology yet. I'm not actually sure which way this goes. But yeah, so it's you can, with pockets that are slightly less kind of focal point related, you can add decorations, you can put lace on, you can put gems and things like that to try and decorate them. You also don't have to use these as pockets. You can use them as journaling cards. You could maybe stick them on the front of an envelope either as a pocket or just as a decoration, so you could cut that out maybe. So you don't have to use the ephemera as it looks like it's intended for use as on the actual page. So this is a page of 4 journaling cards, so this doesn't actually require any assembly, just simply cut them out. Now the corners are too wide for my 10mm corner on this. They're just meant to be like sort of bubble rounded cards, so I just cut around that with the scissors, as you will have seen. So yeah, again, you don't have to use them as journal cards. You could turn these into pockets, so you could kind of mix and match whatever you wanted to do. You can cut around the images and use them as fussy cuts, embellishments, tear them up and put them into clusters. There's all sorts of things that you can do with these. Okay, so this is a page of 4 tags. So you've got the 3 rounded ones. I love that image. It's such a cool little digital collage that I put together. And then you can see on some of these as well, I kind of use like, so these aren't embossed, but I kind of digitally embossed them. And I absolutely love that effect. And I do use that on a few other things. So like here you can see there's a bit of an embossing effect that goes around the journaling card. And yeah, a little bit on there as well. So I really enjoyed that technique. As you can probably tell, I learned that technique whilst I was putting this kit together. So yeah, so we've got 3 of these really gorgeous tags, which again don't have to be used as tags, they could be used as all sorts of things. And then that's a more sort of squared one there as well. And then here is an envelope, so this is kind of like a coin envelope. So with this one, so there are no fold lines because it was just too dark to try and put them on, but you know, it's quite clear, so it's just going to be corner to corner. So literally just fold it over from one corner down to the other, and then burnish it with the bone folder, and the same on the other side. Just fold up the bottom flap, give that a burnish, and then fold down the top flap as well. So you can see that I've got like the little moons there on the back, which is really cute. And so that's like some little sort of dangly moons. So if you wanted those to be visible, what you could actually do is fold that flap up underneath and glue them on top, and then you would run a line of glue here to keep that closed, but you could just glue that underneath, so you didn't need to actually do that on top. But entirely your choice, whatever you like. And then that's your top flap to get into the envelope. And then that's what the envelope looks like. So it's got like a sort of mystical tree with a moon at the top and some crystals and stuff. So very pretty envelope there. Okay, and here are the it's basically like just a huge page full of tags. So you've got these larger ones at the top there, and that's again using that embossing technique. And then we've got some of the smaller ones here. And again, as I say, you don't need to use these specifically as tags. You could use these as cluster focal points and things like that, especially these really, really tiny ones. Or if you've got like tiny envelopes, which there is one in this kit, you could use them for those little envelopes as well. So there's a lot of little tags just there on that page for you. And finally, we have a page of envelopes. So this is the tiny, tiny envelope that I was talking about. So again, you would just fold down the flap corner to corner on each side, and that gives you your flaps at the back. And then just fold the bottom flap up and the top flap down. And then that gives you this super cute, tiny little envelope. And then all you would need to do is just apply a little bit of glue here and here and glue that flap up, and then that gives you your tiny little envelope. I don't think these will actually fit in here, they're a little bit too big, but depending on what you wanted to do, I mean, you might not want to fold this flap down, so you might want it as like an open envelope, and then you could pop a tag in there like that. That looks quite cute, to be honest, I quite like that. And then you could just maybe paper clip that into the journal or something like that. So I'm just going to burnish the folds on that so that it stays nice and folded. So that's a little envelope. So then next we have a couple of coin type envelopes. So again here, just fold the flaps in on the side, and then the bottom flap and the top flap, and give those edges all a little burnish. And also, if you don't have a bone folder, you can just use the end of a pair of scissors to burnish as well. And burnish just basically means that it really presses that fold down so it kind of stays where you folded it. So that's the front of that envelope, and then you can see I've got some of that embossing technique here. So all you would do with this one, again, you can either have the flap up there, or you can glue it inside as well, whatever you prefer. I mean, to be honest, if you wanted a flap on the outside and you wanted to see those stars, you could just literally trim just those little corners off and then glue it on the outside. I might do that actually. So yeah, so all you would do is just run a little bit of glue down there to glue that together, and then either glue that outside or inside, or trim it and then glue it, and then that's your little flap to the envelope, which has got the moon phases on. Then this one is a similar sort of shape once it's folded, in terms of like it's sort of like a small coin envelope. So I'll just burnish those edges. Okay, so that's what the front of it will look like. So you can use it either way, to be honest. So there are moon phases on both flaps at the back. So what you would do again is just run a bead of glue down here, glue that down, and then glue one of the flaps up, and then you've got one for the envelope as well. Or if you wanted to be really adventurous, you could just glue it there and there, and then you've got another flap that way. It literally doesn't matter which way you do it. So this is kind of like the same whichever way you do it, which is quite a fun envelope. So that's that one. Next we have these small squarish ones. So with these ones, all you do is just fold them down until you kind of get corner to corner. So you just kind of make sure that both corners are meeting, and then you can fold the other edges. So just give that a burnish. Okay, so the moon is that way, and you've got the stars dangling from the moon there, so you can just pull these flaps in, and then you could put a tiny little dab of glue there just to secure those flaps, and then just run some down that way, and then you've got your bottom flap to come up there, and then you've got your outside flap, and then you've got your moon on the front, and that's one of those little envelopes there. Then we've got these two, which are they the same shape? No, they're not. They're slightly different shapes, so you get a variety of different ones here. So that little moon there, that's intended to be the main flap. So let's just fold down the sides. And the bottom flap. And just fold down the top flap as well. Okay, so again, just to assemble this, just a dab of glue there, secure that down, and then some glue coming down on the side there. And there you go, you've got a lovely little envelope. I really love these clusters. Okay, so I'm just going to fold down the sides. So again, it's just literally corner to corner. These are slightly less pronounced corners than the other shapes of the envelope, so it's just about being maybe a little bit more mindful as to where you're folding it. But you know, it's junk journaling at the end of the day, you can make mistakes. Okay, so again, just a dab of glue there, and then a bit of glue here, and then it will glue up there, and again you've got that lovely seamless line, and then you just fold down your top flap to complete the envelope. And there you have another one of these gorgeous little envelopes. So that is everything from the ephemera kit. So thank you very much for joining me on this video. I hope that it's helped you to kind of figure out what the ephemera is, what it's for, how to assemble it, and the fact that you don't actually have to use these pieces just as what they look like. They should be made into. You can literally rip them up, cut them up, make them into absolutely anything else that you want. Just the world is your oyster. Alright, so I will leave it there for today, but thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button because it will really support my business. Alright, thanks guys, see you soon, bye!